Welcome back, everybody, to the Nevin Shapiro Show. I'm Mike Tirado. I'm here with Nevin Shapiro, and today we're going to do a full breakdown of the 2002 Ohio State game. Nevin's going to give his commentary to the Ohio State fans, and we're going to close the show with a little lash out that Luther Campbell had on X to a Miami insider. And we have some great news for you guys. We have just been acquired by BTN Sports. So the Nevin Shapiro Show is now with BTN Sports. We have a full studio now to give you guys the best content that we possibly can. So before the video starts, please click that subscribe button. And as always, let's get into the action. For the viewers that don't know, you went to the Miami game in 2002. Can you walk us through the play-by-play of going with the team, like into the stadium and all that stuff?
Well, I didn't go with the team into the stadium, but I was at the team hotel a day or two before the game. I flew into Las Vegas for New Year's Eve and put down a 5-team parlay, with Miami being the 5th team in my parlay. Well, you know how that ended. And so I had the first 4 teams that came in. But anyway, yeah, it was very exciting, man. Arizona was beautiful. I had suffered one major heartbreak once before, 1986, with the Penn State debacle when we showed up in fatigues, and then we got bombed. Yeah, it was, I was expecting a back-to-back situation when I walked into the stadium.
And did you feel that the guys were locked in, like mentally? Like, what did you see, like, pregame? Because I know you took that picture with Willis before the game. Like, what did you see?
Yeah, well, the one thing that concerned me, I happened to be at the team hotel, and the offensive line coach, Art Kehoe, was talking about his concern for their defensive line. And that was sort of a prelude to what happened, as far as their defensive line caused a lot of pressure for us and sort of disrupted our flow.
Right. And other than that, did you foresee any possibility that Miami could lose the game?
Not really, no. I wasn't overly confident that we would blow them out, but I thought we'd certainly win.
Right.
And, their offense didn't freak me out. Our defense was loaded. They had Maurice Clarett, who had a great freshman year, but we bottled him up. The quarterback, Krenzel, was trash, and their defense was solid, and they just made plays, and the game shouldn't have been as close as it was, and what my thoughts are.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah. I don't want to steal. By the way, man, what a beautiful studio you set up here.
Yeah.
I said, Mike,
nice.
Mike, listen, why don't you do something nice? I didn't realize you were going to ransack the Heck Center.
Yeah, I went to the University of Miami on this past Saturday, and some things fell off the truck.
Yeah, I'm expecting you to bring your bed sheets in next week.
I'll wear my pajamas on the next show.
Had I known I was showing up to this, I wouldn't have dressed like a Smurf.
I'll dress like a bird on the next show. So there's a picture I'm going to blow up on the screen for everyone of you with Willis a few hours before they broke his leg.
Yeah.
And that happened right in the beginning of the 4th quarter. So can you walk us through, like, how you felt and what was going through your head at that moment when that happened?
Man, I felt like every other UM fan, disgusted, stunned, sad, and I was wearing his jersey, his actual game-worn jersey. Man, it was a terrible feeling, and he just started humming. Like, he was starting to get his groove going in that 4th quarter, and man, that took the wind out of our sails, man. Like, that was, and then there was the personal feelings, like, my relationship with him and just knowing what he had lined up, and he was going to be the number 2 pick in the draft. That draft, he was going to Houston. He was going to Houston behind Carson Palmer going to Cincinnati. I'm glad he recovered, obviously, and that was sort of miraculous, and I watched that recovery firsthand, and that guy dug down deep, man, to get back.
And when that happened, at that moment, did you feel we were in jeopardy of possibly losing at that point?
All the cards were pushed to the front of all the chips were pushed to the front of the table.
Yeah.
You could tell, because we didn't have really our backup situation at that time. Quatrin Hill was very young. I think we had Jason Gether still, but I mean, Will's had, that was
Jared Payton was playing.
Jared Payton, yeah, that was the best individual season for a University of Miami player that I can remember. Probably most recently Cam Ward's season was probably like that level. But as a running back, that was by far the greatest individual season a Miami running back's ever had. He was, I mean, he could have been Dorsey stole votes from him because they were both on the ballot. I don't mean he stole, but, you know, like they're not going to, when two players are from the same team, they're going to like split votes. And I was at that Heisman, and, you know, I thought he was the best player in America. He was amazing. He won 5 games for us that year. He was incredible.
Who won that year?
Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm wearing the new Sean Taylor jersey that just dropped, and he had a monster game. He had 2 interceptions, 11 tackles. Did you have any conversations with him pregame? Or
no, I didn't really speak with hardly anybody. You know, these guys were locked in doing their thing.
Yeah.
And that wasn't my business. You know, I was a fan. Like, I was in the background, just ready to talk shit. Yeah. No, there was no dialogue with anybody.
So let's get into what everyone's probably been waiting for, the whole Terry Porter conversation. So Terry Porter was a referee that threw the controversial flag in the overtime. But most people don't know this, that he was an Ohio State alumni. He graduated from Ohio State University, which for me is crazy that they would allow a referee to ref a national title game and you graduated from that school.
Yeah,
can you walk us through a play-by-play of when that flag was thrown? Like, what was your reaction?
First of all, I have pictures, and I don't know. I have so many pictures. I actually have a picture jumping onto the field.
You jumped onto
I was on the field. Yeah, I was sitting with the players' families in the end zone, and we were all on the field, man, going crazy that we won.
Right.
That we won.
And then,
like 30 seconds later, we didn't win. Man, it was terrible. Like the stun.
Yeah. Was there anything that maybe came into the way of Terry Porter by like an object?
Yeah, he threw a bottle at his head. I never saw the overtime.
Oh, they kicked you out of the stadium?
Yeah.
I didn't know they kicked you out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even see the overtime. Yeah, I was disgusted. And then when I saw the fireworks going off, it was a bad day for the Toros, Mike. Just a bad day for the Toros.
So besides the late flag, do you feel that Ohio State was deserving of that national title?
Fucking suck, man. Listen, they stole that fucking game. They know what they did. Everyone knows what happened. Come on, man. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. Did they really win the game?
What's your message to them? Go ahead.
You guys stole a championship from us. That's it. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
That wasn't an official win. Not in my book.
Right.
We're a 3-peat champion. We win 2000. Florida State stole our game. We would have crushed Oklahoma. 2001, obviously, we won. In 2002, we got robbed. We should have been a 3-peat. Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. I got no love for the Ohio State. You know, I never hated them. Now I hate them. Like, they made me hate them. Right. And they get a lot of our players from down here. And I know the reason for that, too.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was tied up for a minute, so I couldn't really do anything about it.
So to close about this whole Ohio State thing, before we move on to our next segment, what would you say is the definitive reason that Miami did not win that game?
First of all, it should never have come down to that play.
Right.
That's one. I think we were well underprepared. And we just had too many weapons to have been in a game. And I know, because one of the former starters on that Ohio State defense, and I'm not even going to put his name out there, but a starter and a frontline starter was at my house months later with one of the former Canes.
Okay.
They had become close through the combine situation. And he walked into my house. You know, he saw my helmets and stuff. He goes, man, I can't believe we beat you guys. This was one of the starters from Ohio State. And a frontline starter, not like some guy from, you know, down the way.
Right.
Front line.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. He goes, we couldn't believe it. We couldn't even believe we won.
Yeah.
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 So what would I have done differently? I just, you know, I hate to, I don't like to, I'm a big fan of Larry Coker as a person, but, you know, I just, you know, I don't want to get into, it's so long ago also, but like, I just think we were underprepared. And maybe we just thought we had it coming to us and we just took them lightly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those David Goliath situations.
Yeah.
And maybe like Nebraska, Miami, 1983. They didn't even think we were going to show up, and we showed up.
Yeah.
Same situation. And Ohio State had a very formidable defense. Their front line was very, very good, and a few of those guys went into the league. One of them passed away, Will Smith. He was excellent, and they were. I mean, they had a formidable defense for sure.
Right. I watched like a 25-minute clip last night on the recap of the game and all the highlights, and from what I can assess, even from watching that, defensive line was the reason I believed that we lost.
Oh well, it is.
Yeah,
it is,
that was really they sacked Dorsey a lot. In the game.
Listen,
they put a lot of pressure on him.
He suffered a concussion. He was throwing up all over himself after the game at the team hotel. They had to rush him to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone knows that or doesn't, but yeah.
Interesting. So let's move on to this next.
He wasn't the only one. I was thrown up too.
Yeah, I believe it. So let's move on to this next segment of Luther Campbell. He went off on this insider, Gabby Arisha. Mm-hmm. He came out and ripped him, stating, so what happened was Gabby stated that Ray Joseph has had 2.5 years to prove himself.
Has he really, though?
I don't believe so.
He hasn't had 2.5 quarters.
Right, exactly. So Luther went on X and absolutely destroyed this guy, calling him a complete jackass. He knows nothing about football, called him a dumb motherfucker. And he also claims this: if Ray transfers and we don't win a national title, that he's going to fly a banner over the stadium, which I'm sure insinuating fire Mario. What's your comments to all this?
Well, Luke's not shy about how he feels when he feels a certain way, right? Speaking from firsthand experience, of course, as well. But he's also very defensive for his players. I sort of side with Luke here, I side with him, man. When a guy's got that it and he's being held back. See, Mike, that's the problem. I'm sort of glad you brought this up. We watch some of the media that covers Miami.
Yep.
And these guys are fucking fluffsters. They're just fluffy guys. Yeah, let's say the nice thing. It's never raining in Southern California, right? Like, it's never rain. Man, be honest with the fan base. Just be honest. Has Mario done a good job recruiting? Yeah, he has. Yeah, there's a lot of there's a whole different program in place now. There's no doubt. This is not the same Manny Diaz led unit, but there's fluff that these guys just glance over, and like I don't even want to give this guy credit, but you know who I'm talking about. And this guy, I've never heard him say a bad word about our defense. What we have? Do we have Outland Trophy winners lined up all over the line? Our linebackers, do we even have linebackers? I'm just tired of it, man. And so like Luke just calls bullshit when he sees bullshit. It doesn't mean I agree with everything Luke says in certain opinions, but yeah, he's calling bullshit where it's fucking bullshit. He knows what kind of player Ray is, and I think the kid is great. I think he could be potentially great.
Yeah.
I can't go fight his fight, but I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from. And we try and tell the fan base, this is what we know. This is what we hear. This guy's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. Go listen to those fucking pansies. And just keep thinking you're going 12-0, and then you wake up. How do we go 8-4? Because these guys were selling you something that didn't exist.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I agree with what you're saying. He's only had about 2.5 quarters to prove. He has not had an opportunity.
Give the kid a chance, man. Let him ball, man.
Yeah.
Let him ball. And that's no knock on Xavier Restrepo. He had a great career.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with a comparison against another player. But, man, let the kid play.
But in Shannon Dawson's offense, he runs a spread offense. There's 2 slot receiver positions. So I think, and also what maybe Luther was saying, that he knows nothing about football, because Gabby Arisha was stating, well, Restrepo was just the better player. But that's one position. That's on one side of the field. He could have been on the other slot receiving side of the field having a chance. He would have been wide open.
You know how bad I want to go off on some of these so-called media guys that cover Miami.
Give them a little bit. Give the fans a little.
I'm not, because I'm just not going to bring those guys up, man.
No, you don't have to say their names.
Yeah, I mean, just they're you know who they are.
I know who they are.
They're the same guys. Oh, it's great. And they, shut the fuck up, man. You guys are fucking full of shit. Man, tell these fucking fans what it is.
Yeah. And they know. They want to have that access.
You got the Mario factor, man. Everybody's afraid to offend the dictator.
Yeah, there you have it. So, then that's just the truth.
I'm not.
I know you're not. No, you're not. So let's get into this final question so we could wrap up this segment here in this episode. So there's been a little rumor looming around the University of Miami that there's a guy running around with the nickname Little Nevin. His name is Dennis Smith, and he's Mario's right-hand guy who's the current executive football director. People are saying that he's similar in height and weight to you and that he's the current money guy for the whole NIL stuff and everything, and that's how
is it actually his money?
I don't believe it is.
Oh, yeah.
But that's how the stereotype started.
Uh-huh.
So what's your comments?
Yeah, my comment. Well, he's a bodega, and I'm fucking Walmart. Is there anything else?
I mean, if you want to keep elaborating.
Come on. Who's Dennis Smith? Is that him on that wall?
The Ibis?
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
What does this got to do about football?
It's just
Dennis Smith. Who the fuck is that? D-Train? Is that him? The guy they call D-Train?
I think that's also his name.
Yeah.
But it's been this whole Little Nevin show. I heard it a little bit when I was there Saturday. This whole
when he wins championships and puts fucking Hall of Famers in, tell him to holler.
Well, there you guys have it, man. That concludes our episode for today. Before you guys leave, please click that subscribe button. We're dropping videos every week for you guys, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.